Hey guys, it's been a long time since I've done one of these, but tonight's performance, the show that I watched, compelled me to come home at 1 o'clock in the morning, sit down, turn the camera on, and record my thoughts, not my prayers, of how this evening went. So in case you're not aware, currently touring across North America, you have Of Sulfur, Mental Cruelty, Ghost Bath, and Extermination, Dismemberment. Now, I didn't see Extermination Dismemberment because they didn't cross the border. There's some issues there. Apparently, Canadians are very uptight, anal, one would say, and they didn't make up to Montreal and Toronto for these shows. But if you're watching them in the US, then you're definitely going to get to see them. Now, the tour is at the halfway mark. There's still quite a few shows to come. I'm going to put all of the tour dates in the description of this video. So after you hear me talk about the show, if you're enticed, curious, and you want to see one of these bands, or perhaps you want to see all of them, the dates will be there for you to find out exactly where they're playing. But let's talk about the show. Ghost Bath, the first band playing that's on this tour lineup, that was a local band that started off the evening, but I want to start my review really with Ghost Bath because that's where my interests lie. And when I saw this tour being announced, I was wondering, what is Ghost Bath doing on this lineup? Because the genres are completely different. The sound, the experience, everything is completely different. So it made me wonder, how is this going to blend in as a tour package, and how is this going to be received by the fans? Well, I can't speak for other venues, I can't speak for other cities, but in Toronto, I saw quite a few Ghost Bath t-shirts in the audience. I saw some patches on battle vests, so there was definitely a fan base there to see them perform. I've never missed one of their shows in Toronto. I've been to every single show that they've ever played in Toronto. I really love this band. I think they're a phenomenal band. Perhaps not getting the publicity that they deserve because they're super talented, super professional. I've never seen a bad live performance from them. I was joking with a friend of mine at the show, and I said that if you put these guys in the Titanic, not when the Titanic was floating, but the synced one, if you put them in the Titanic underwater, they'll still sound phenomenal. That's the kind of band that they are. It doesn't matter. I've seen them in multiple venues. It doesn't matter what kind of venue it is. It doesn't matter if the quality of the PA is not good. It doesn't matter who's mixing. They're just such a solid band that they find ways to work around adversity and put together outstanding live performances. Just one of those bands that just has that professional level, that understands who they are, how to do it, and how to better bring it to the audience and to the fan base. Tonight was no different. I really enjoyed their set. Very atmospheric as I was expecting, but with some songs that had the same level of brutality and aggression that some of the music from the bands that follow them obviously would have. So it was a nice set list that, while keeping their core material intact, it had some material that I felt that really connected well with the bands that came after. It's a nice way to not completely stand out in the crowd and kind of blend yourself into the overall tour package that you're in. So great performance by Ghost Bath. After them came Mental Cruelty. And Mental Cruelty, they're from Germany. They released one of the best deathcore albums of 2023. It was in my top 5 albums of the month. I believe it was the month of July. I really enjoyed this record because it didn't feel cookie cutter. It felt very well defined, very well crafted, very dynamic. I would go as far as to say even very diverse, including that more symphonic style elements into some of the tracks, which I really like. I mean, they're not the first band to do it, but the way they do it in how they incorporate it, and then bringing some other elements and some other influences into the songs, really makes for a unique experience. And that album had that uniqueness to it. That's why it stood out, and that's why it was such a magnificent record all around. So I was really interested in seeing them, perhaps more than anybody else. Not that I don't love the other bands. I just mentioned how much I love Ghost Bath. I'm a huge fan of Sulfur, but I've seen those bands before. I've seen them multiple times. I had never seen Mental Cruelty. It was their only second time touring in North America. I really hope they come back soon again, because they were outstanding. And you can tell how a band is performing. You can tell how good they are by the reaction of the audience. The audience was lit. They were performing at the Hard Luck Bar, which is not a big venue in Toronto. It's a really small venue. It's like in a third floor of a building that looks like it's condemned. I've seen so many bands perform there. I've seen Unearth, The Darkest Hour, Shadow of Intent, Brand of Sacrifice. Latest one that I've seen there was Ex Mortis. And not many bands of these that I just mentioned have been able to sold out this very small, very dingy, but with a lot of attitude style venue. A few have, but not many. And when I saw the lineup, when I got to the venue and I see the lineup outside, and then when Mental Cruelty goes on stage and I see the place absolutely packed. I mean, it was packed. Like, there was no room to breathe or move. It was just a packed house, and I see how the pit is interacting. It was a crazy, crazy pit from the first note to the last note. It was just insane. And then to see the lineup of people going to their merch after their set, all of these are gauges. All of these are things that you can look at if you are in the band and assess how successful this tour is going for you. How successful was this show? How well received were we by this crowd? And I think Toronto welcomed them with open arms. The crowd was alive and well, energetic, crazy pit, following up by purchasing merch and supporting the band. But the band on stage was just magnificent. Just great sound, great energy. Their lead singer has the greatest German accent of all times. I could hear this guy give me directions or talk to me about the weather or maybe recommend a book that I've never read and I never will, but I don't care. I just want to hear him talk because he has this like super cool German accent that, you know, just I had a smile from ear to ear just hearing him talking between songs. I love it. I think he needs to embrace it. He needs to own it, and I felt like he did. And it was just it added so much atmosphere and so much flavor to their performance. What a band! What a performance! What an experience! I'm dying to see these guys again because it's not just what you get out of them as musicians, is what you get out of being in that crowd and that kind of energy. You feel energized by those around you and by the band in front of you performing. So great evening from Mental Cruelty. They deliver on every single category that I had in my mental checkbox coming into this show. Last but definitely obviously not least of Sulfur, they came on. And this is the third time, I believe, that I've seen them in Toronto. And I have to say this. Every time that I've seen them, it's been under a different set of circumstances. The first time that I saw them, they were opening for Lorna Shore. Or they were part of the Lorna Shore package from the Pain Remains tour. The next time I saw them was on a Carnifex, I believe, Chelsea Grin package. And now they were the headliners. So I've seen them in different situations every single time, in different size venues every single time. And what I can tell you is that every single time that I've seen them, their performances have gotten better. So that to me is definitely also another gauge of where this band is going. Where this band is going musically, where this band is going as far as their live performances are concerned. The performance that I saw today was so much more professional, so much more mature, so much more together in terms of stage presence, talking between songs, Ricky, the way he was singing, his delivery, everything about the band just feels like it's getting better and better with every tour that they embark on. The only thing tonight that I would say that could have been a little bit better, but that's no fault of theirs. This venue does not have the greatest of sounds. And I thought that on Ricky's clean vocals, they were coming across too low. They needed to be a little bit higher. He's incredible singer. Never mind the harsh vocals. Obviously, he knows how to do that, and he does it extremely well. But his clean vocals are so good, as we saw from their previous record. And when he's performing these songs that really call for, that have those clean vocal parts in them, I feel like they need to be a little bit higher in the mix. They need to be almost at the same level as his harsh vocals. And tonight they were a little bit more subtle. And that takes away from how good of a vocalist he really is. Outside of that, incredible performance, great energy. Once again, the crowd was energetic, the place was packed, everybody was into it, everybody was enjoying themselves, the band was enjoying themselves, the fans were enjoying themselves, the place was hot as balls, so everybody was sweating. It was just a fun evening all around. It didn't matter if you were standing in the back, if you were in the pit, if you were at the bar, if you're buying something at the merch. Just being in the venue, surrounded by a lot of positivity, young bands that are really hungry, performing to their best of abilities, sometimes under difficult circumstances. It just made for a fun night and a fun evening, and myself and all of those that were there, I'm sure everybody would agree with me, we're all glad that we went, that we enjoyed these bands, that we enjoyed their live performances, that we support live music, and you should support live music. So check out the tour dates on the description of this video, and if you have a chance to go check out these bands, go do it. All of them bring something different, all of them bring something unique, but all of them will deliver an amazing show. I'll see you all at the next video.